Looking at the typography on our page here, we have 3 different fonts in use. So the first font we were using is this bold font you can see up the top here, this heading font, and this is Archivo Black. So keep a mental note of that. Our second font is for our subhead, and that is in Tenor Sans, which we're using in a regular weight. Then lastly, what we have is our body text. So this is called Cardo, and we have an italic version as well as a regular version. So we can get all these fonts from Google. These are freely available fonts to use. So if you Google fonts, we can go off and find those. So what did we have? Firstly, we had Archivo. So let's search for Archivo. So we want Archivo Black. We're going to add that to our basket. Next up, we have Tenor Sans. Let's add that to our basket. There it is. And then lastly, we had Cardo. Now with Cardo, we want both the regular and the italic version. So if we add that, it's going to pop down in our little bit down here, and we want to go to Customize, and we want to make sure we're picking up that italic as well. If you have a regular font weight but not the italic version, it's going to do what's called a faux italic, which means it's just going to slant the regular words and they just look really naff. So make sure if you're using italics, you've got the proper font there to support it, and things will look great. So we've got the fonts that we need. We're now going to embed these on our page. And the recommended way to do this is by using the link tag. It's a bit like linking to a style sheet. In this case, it's going to go off to Google Fonts and it's going to fetch those fonts for us that we want to use. So we're going to put that just above our tachyons. And now these are available on our page and we can use them in our CSS. So let's actually do that. So given that the main font on our page is this body text, so this Cardo regular, we're going to set that to be our body text. Now, what size is our text? It's 18 pixels by default. We can scale this up and down depending on what components we're using, but we'll start by saying font family. And if we go into Google Fonts, it'll tell you how to use it. So we're going to say font family, Cardo, and then serif. So the fallback font is going to be Times New Roman if it can't find the serif. We can actually maybe put Georgia in there as a safeguard, because Georgia I feel is a better font than Times New Roman. That's your personal preference. What we're going to do in addition to that is to say the font size is going to be 18 pixels and the line height, let's figure that out. It's going to be 120%. So 18 times 1.2. So it's going to be around 1.2. So let's go line height 1.2. That feels a little bit tight in my head, but we'll see how it looks. Cool. So that's our main body text. So I can say here we use our main body font. Set it. Let's call it typeface. Let's use the technical terms and set it on our body tag. Wonderful. Now what we're also going to do here is to write ourselves a class name that does this for us. So wherever we use the Cardo class, we get Cardo. So this is taking a tachyons approach to our own CSS. Wherever we use this Cardo class, we can just apply that font, which is a very useful feature for us. Now with our hero heading and our hero subheading, we're not going to put our font in there. We're going to use a class name for that too. So what do we have? We have Archivo Black and Tenor Sans. I'm going to paste those in here. So I'm going to say .archivo, if I can spell, archivo. Perfect. And then tenor, we'll just call it tenor, just to keep it short and sweet, because with our tachyons class names, they're quite short. So we'll follow that same pattern with what we're doing. And we can now use these fonts on our page. So let's make an example of it with our hero that we just coded up. Currently doesn't have any typography on it. What do we want to do with that? Well, we want to make this heading use Archivo. We want to make the subheading use tenor, and then Archivo on the date. So in the content.php, let's say Archivo. On the date, let's say tenor. And then on the date, we can say Archivo as well. Using the same idea as tachyons, using classes that perform or that apply certain styles to our elements. Or we could say specific. Okey-doke. So let's see what we get with that added to our page. Hopefully this typography should change up a bit and we should get our nice new fonts. Cool. So that's looking good. Now you'll notice the rendering between how we see the fonts on our page here and how they are rendered in the browser are slightly different. And there's something we can do there just to clean that up. And there is something called WebKit font smoothing, and we can anti-alias it a bit. So did I spell anti-alias correctly there? I think I did. This is a feature built into things like Safari, Chrome, iOS Safari. It's not available in all browsers, but it takes fonts which typically have pretty sharp and harsh edges, and it just softens them up a bit. So with that in place, you can see if I toggle it on and off, oh, it's anti-aliased, that's why. So you can see, if you look at the Incense Harbor, you might be able to see just a very slight change there. Just in the clarity of the text, the edges are softened a little bit. So there's a few options you can use here. You've got subpixel anti-aliased as well, but I usually find the anti-aliased is the best approach to use. So you can see there, when I type anti-alias and then anti-aliased, it changed color, and that's because it recognized the property. So here we smooth the body text a touch to make it clearer. Perfect. So that's our typography dealt with. As we move forward in the project, we don't really think about it too much. We just need to use these class names wherever we want to change the fonts. But that's the idea. We use Google Fonts, we embedded them, wrote some class names to use them, put them back into our HTML, and we're keeping things very, very lightweight in our CSS, changing only the things we need. So breaking things down to lots of little pieces that we reuse over and over. So what we'll do in the next video is to continue with what we're doing. We're going to build another component, and with that we'll introduce more advanced custom fields and see how we can structure things.